Hello, everyone. My guest today is Michael von Roeder. He is works both as an entrepreneur and a corporate executive. He currently serves as CEO of Sensorberg, a SaaS IoT company. As the founder and investor of various startups in the areas of mobile energy and fintech, he's firmly anchored in Berlin and the international founding scene. All right, Michael, are you ready to take us to the top?
I am.
All right, so just to be clear, so Sensorberg, were you the actual founder or you were an investor that then took over?
The latter.
The latter.
I was an investor and then I jumped in let's say in a difficult phase.
I was going to say, okay, so do you still speak to the founders? This question will reveal a lot.
Yes, I do. He sits in my board and I actually meet him next week for lunch. So it's all good.
Ah, very good. And team size, obviously that's a tough transition. Were you guys still fairly small and nimble, or is this a big transition?
No, actually it was, I took over the company with 30 people. It's now 30 again, but the people are different mostly.
I see. Okay, so about 30 folks. Good. Okay, let's get into the product. What's the company do and how do you make money?
We make buildings interactive. We usually start with accessing the building because that's usually the first interaction with the building. So we do digital access control. And from there, we bring in sensors and actors like, heating valves and temperature sensors, and we control the lighting. So what we're trying to achieve is an interactive experience with the building. So you can enter, you can book your meeting rooms, you can receive your Amazon package, you can receive your groceries and so on. And we do that with an open platform because we believe in the future it's not going to be like the GE or Siemens doing all that with a proprietary solution, but it's, many folks can contribute. So we work lots with other startups who provide their apps and we integrate with them and so on. And we make money. Well, first of all, we do our own hardware. So we make money with that.
And the margin, the margin on that business is what?
50% right now, but actually in my ideal world, I would give away the hardware for free and just make money with the second part, which is a SaaS model. So you pay basically, let's say, $10 per door per month. If you have one door, if you have more doors, like we have customers who have 200 doors, obviously you pay less. And then you can add additional sensors and actors and you pay per unit you connect to the IoT platform.
Interesting. Okay, so I don't want to go down every single kind of customer size, but on average, how many doors does a customer have?
Average is difficult because it really ranges from 1 door to 1,000. But on average, that would be 500, but that's a bit misleading. So,
okay.
there's...
Let me ask it differently. How many total doors are you installed on today?
Let's say 5,000.
5,000. Okay, across how many different kind of logos?
If you count in the tenants, it's a lot of logos. Let me say 20.
Okay, 20. Good. Okay, good. So this is kind of like an enterprise sale. You find one of these 20 people, you say, how many doors do you have? Boom, you do the hardware, you do the software, and then you go to the races.
That's the idea. Although we usually start with co-working spaces because for them it's really nice to have our solution because they have a member app. And we make the member app smarter. So the member app is not only for engaging with the community, but also with the physical space of the co-working space.
Interesting.
That's our pitch, right? And then what happens is that corporates, they all, the new way of working and stuff. So they use co-working concepts, and that's how we get into the corporates.
Okay. And the $10 per door, that's obviously just on the SaaS side, right? That doesn't touch the hardware?
Yes.
Okay. So that means can I take 10 times 5,000 doors? You're doing about 50 grand a month right now on pure SaaS?
Theoretically, yes, but obviously we give some heavy discounts, A, to grab some of the market, and B, if you have more than one door, it goes down. Why? Because in the real estate industry, at least in Europe, very conservative. So they don't understand SaaS. So they want to buy the whole system.
Yeah.
So what we do there is we say, hey, no problem, you can prepay for 7 years. And that's what they do.
Very good. I want to talk more about that in a second. So, give me a more accurate number then. If it's not kind of 40, 50 grand a month, what are you guys at today in terms of just SaaS?
We make this year, we make round about 2.5 million euros overall. And I would guess 20% is recurring for now. Okay,
interesting. Okay, so 20% of 2.5 million. So you've got about, you call it 250, about 500-ish, something like that. Yeah, interesting.
So we're not at the magic, crossing. Like I say, we need 100K monthly, then we start making an impact.
Yeah. So 500,000 kind of euros over the past 12 months. That's about $574. We could consider that kind of ARR in the States. This means that your hardware business is significantly, it sounds like it's pretty significant. What do you need to do in order to drive the hardware costs down so you can get more adoption?
Increase the batch size. So right now we, produce batch size of 2 to 500. Once we can produce 5,000 at once, we go to China. We already have sourcing partners there because that's one of my previous businesses. And then I would say if we get our buying cost down to lower than €100, then we can start thinking about having a mixed model. So we give the hardware away and then we just do pure SaaS.
Interesting. And what's your cost today kind of per door?
More than 200 if you just take the door controller. So it's too much to give it away for free.
Yeah. Interesting. Now, I'm guessing you probably raised capital to help subsidize this a bit. How much have you raised?
Overall, more than 5 million.
Okay, 5. And when was that? Was that before you came in or after? Or?
Both. So I'm currently raising another round of, a low single million digit, because I want actually us to be able to go break even late next year, early 2020. Just as a theory, because then we are free and we can do whatever we want.
Yeah. Okay. So you're raising what you said, like 5 million-ish right now, something like that?
Yeah, a bit lower.
Maybe a bit lower.
We don't need that much because our sales are going up, so I'm quite happy.
Okay. So you raise a 3 and then, or something like that, something less than 5 now. And then the goal there is to essentially help to drive you guys towards break even by late 2019, early 2020, bring your kind of cost per door in terms of the hardware closer to about €100. And that'll give you significantly more leverage.
Yes.
Interesting.
Exactly.
One of the patterns I see whenever I see kind of an IoT device paired with a SaaS product on the back end is retention tends to be way higher because there's actually a physical piece of hardware installed. Is that true in your business? What's retention?
It's totally true. I call our door controllers the Trojan horses to the buildings. That's, by the way, why I give like so much discount on the recurring, because I know once I have them, we have zero churn. We have zero churn so far in the whole history of the company.
Okay, interesting. And give us the history. When was it launched?
This product was launched 2 years ago.
Okay, so 2016.
And what we also see is, it's not only zero churn. We get one, let's say co-working. So you get one space from Mindspace or WeWork. Once they like it, you grow with them. Yep. So we have several co-working spaces here in Germany, and we grow with them every month. They open a new space, and we go in without additional sales efforts.
So what is your typical year 1 to year 2 expansion on a customer?
Well, I would say usually we start with one. I take one which is called Unicorn here in Berlin. So we started with one just 2 months ago. Now we're at 6. Next year they're going to do 20.
Okay, 20 doors?
Spaces, buildings.
Okay, but I don't know what your revenue is per building. I just know the door thing. So how many doors is that?
So let's say that's in an average space. Let's say it's 50 doors. So you go from 50 to 300 to what would that be? To 20 spaces times 20 doors, 400. 400 doors.
Okay, interesting.
So it grows nicely. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So do you calculate some of the typical SaaS metrics? Like, do you know what net revenue retention is year over year?
We don't do that yet because our base is too low to make a proper statistic, I would say.
Yeah, but it's definitely greater than 100% though, because you're expanding.
Yeah, definitely. What's right now the biggest, we look at more closely at our sales cycles and customer acquisition cost. That's something I want to know first, because then, customer lifetime value is pretty high, as you can imagine. So that's the metrics we will tackle next. But right now we are more in this expansion space, grab as much land as possible in terms of getting our hardware into as many buildings as possible.
Yep. So tell me what that is today. So what is the current sales cycle to land one of these new? You have 20 logos today. What's it take to get a new one?
It's a year.
A year. And what's fully weighted CAC on that typically?
Well, that depends a bit. If you calculate purely the doors, it's a different story. We now see upsell. As I mentioned, we not only do doors. That's just the first step. And then all the rest is wirelessly. So we can upsell basically in a kind of a self-service. So customers can buy their own sensors somewhere, let's say in China, bring them in the building. We see them connected, and then we add the fee for that. So customer acquisition cost is... It's really hard. Look, it's enterprise sales, yeah. So that has a high, variance, right? It's an inbound. They want us. They heard word of mouth, and then it's near zero. And on the other end, or just a marketing cost. And on the other end, we have things where we do workshops and this and that, and you look at several thousand euros CAC, right?
Yeah. Well, look, if you have 20 customers and you're doing, call it 40, 50 grand per month in terms of just pure SaaS revenue, that means each customer is paying what, like $2,400 per month. And if you divide that by $10 per door, that means they're doing between 200 and 300 doors kind of per sale. That's obviously an enterprise sale there. So let me ask you a different question. What are you willing to spend to land a new account that is worth 300 doors to you?
10K.
10,000. And you were thinking there. Think out loud. How'd you get to that number?
Yeah. I'm just calculating. Yeah, because I'm wondering. The point is, how long do I keep a customer? Like from my current perspective, it's almost like unlimited because a building has a lifespan of, 30, 40 years. And the hardware is open hardware, so it's standard hardware. So, it's a quad-core processor based on the Pi Compute platform. So it's nothing where I would say they're going to churn out. So if you can bring that in, but I don't want to calculate. So that's what I was just going on in my head. Do I calculate 20 years of recurring revenues? But yeah.
Okay, that makes good sense. And give me a sense of growth. So today you're doing, call it 40, 50 grand a month in revenue on the SaaS side. Where were you at a year ago on the SaaS side?
Almost nothing. So I can
just
tell you,
launched.
The first year I took over, we made overall 100K revenues overall, recurring in one time. Last year we made, I don't know, let's say 700. This year we make between 2 and 3 million.
Yep.
Next year we want to do 7. So yeah, it's a good growth.
Yep, that's great. Now on 2.5, how much will you take to the bottom line? I know you have significant costs with the hardware stuff.
Yeah, well, we make losses.
So. Losses, yeah, that's fair enough. But obviously, you said that targeting break even 19 or 2020, something like that. Team's 20 today, 30. Where's everybody based?
Most of them are physically in Berlin, and then we have some people in Poland and in some parts of Germany. So we try to build our team in a way that we don't prescribe work time or work location, not at all. So they can work when and wherever they want. That's our principle. But most are actually based in Berlin because you get, the best engineers in Germany, or probably, I would say in Europe, you get in Berlin.
Yep. Last question, Michael, before we wrap up. If you go out and want to raise kind of 3 million today, what valuation would make you really happy? What are you trying to aim for?
I would say we're in the ballpark of around 20 million. Pre-post, yeah.
Well, yeah. The reason... Well, I mean, sure it does. 20 million pre is 23 post versus 20 million post is 17 pre. It's a $6 million swing there. That's a lot of money to a lot of people.
I haven't thought about that because, we do the current round. I can't share the valuation, but we already get like some, inquiries if we want to sell. And that's where I, get my idea from.
Yeah. Why not sell?
Too early. I want to do bigger things.
Yeah. You have to come back on. I'm curious, when you start having conversations with investors, they're going to push you towards a hardware valuation, which is going to be way lower than obviously what you would argue for, which is your higher margin SaaS. So there's going to be a tension there you're going to have to figure out how to negotiate around.
We have that already.
Yeah. Well, I want to know who wins. So come on after you raise and tell us who won.
I will.
All right, Michael, let's wrap up with the famous 5. Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
Oh, Good to Great.
And number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying right now?
No, not particularly.
Number 3,
I follow Elon Musk and those guys, but there's a number of people, so you know.
Okay. Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building your business?
Slack.
Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
I try to get 7. Usually I get 6.
Okay, that's pretty good. And situation, married, single, kiddos?
Married, kids.
How many?
1.
Oh, okay, pretty good. So,
and
Michael, how old are you?
49.
49. Last question. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
Oh God. I would have become an entrepreneur much earlier, because if I had known how much fun and freedom that gives you, I would have done it earlier.
Guys, there you have it. Maybe start his own company a bit earlier. Sensorberg, it's a SaaS plus IoT play, really wiring workspaces, adding a lot of efficiencies there. Founded this product in 2016. They're doing about 50 grand per month right now in pure play SaaS revenue, 2.5 million in terms of last 12 months revenue. So a significant portion of hardware. They're looking at obviously scaling the SaaS business. It was nothing about a year ago, now serving about 20 customers, hundreds of doors per customer. Expansion's great. They haven't lost any customer after the hardware's been installed. That's a big advantage of the IoT plus SaaS kind of space. Currently looking to raise $3 million on call, maybe a 20 million or something like that pre-money valuation. We'll see what happens. But Michael, thanks for taking us to the top.
Thank you.